Hello, this is Olga Jevtich. I'm Miss Virginia Senior America 2003, and this is Fashion Notes. I'm so glad you tune in because you are here for a big treat. I have a lady here in the house with the beautiful things that she did, and she's going to tell us all about her work. And very interesting, you know, the fiber that she's using and many, many other things. You will really love and learn, and you are going to learn, as I did, many things about her work. Her name is Lynn Black, and I would like to welcome her to today to come and to spend some time with us to show us her beautiful, beautiful creation she does make from alpaca. Is it alpaca? Mm-hmm. Alpaca. And you probably know most people do not know what alpaca is. It is a special, animal. And she's also a farmer, and she raises alpacas. And I have to ask her many questions because this is very interesting. I never knew about alpaca and how she does, shears every spring, I guess, because they need wool over the winter. And all the things that, you have to do with the animals to get such a beautiful wool. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming today. And as I'm touching her shawls, they are so soft, and alpaca is extremely, known to be extremely soft, fiber. And how did you get into alpaca only? I'm sure, she's mixing some other fibers to be more interesting, but she's also, raising the alpaca on her farm. How many do you have?
I have 30.
30. Are they nice, cuddly, or
no?
No? They're not friendly?
They're livestock, and they are very shy animals. They're like sheep. So they will come up to visit with you, but they don't want to be touched.
No, really?
No, which is awful, because then when you touch them, you want to pet them.
Pet them because they're so soft. And how long their hair grow every year? Because, she said they're shearing every spring. I'm sure they needed during winter to have it, to keep them warm. So do you have a special building where you keep them all 30 of them?
They live outside all
year round. They live outside?
Mm-hmm. They have sheds that they go in when they don't want to. They're like cats. They don't want to be wet. So they run into the sheds when it rains.
Oh, really?
Or when it snows, but they really enjoy the cold weather.
They like cold weather?
Yes, very much so.
That's why they have such a fine wool.
Yes.
They keep them warm. So what do they eat?
They eat grass, like horses and cows, and we feed them hay in the wintertime and a little bit of grain.
Uh-huh.
But for the most part, they're very hardy little creatures, and they don't bother anything. They're just quiet, and they grow this wonderful fiber. So every spring we shear off the fiber, and I send it off to a mill, and they make yarn for me. So I get lots of yarn back every year.
Oh, yeah, she just told me. I didn't know. This is very popular in Virginia. There are so many farmers. They are raising, these animals. I did not know that. And, to be with, then to use their wool, I think it's absolutely fascinating. And she sent it somewhere, to some factory, and, the bundles, and they make the yarn. And then, when she get the yarn, then, she starts weaving, and she has a, how do you call it, the big...
Well, the shawls are triangle in shape, a lot of them. And I have a triangle loom that is like this, but much larger, to make the big shawls.
So what do? You just put it around and weave it?
In this case, it's weaving with your fingers. So you will do a very...
What about in the big one? How do you do with the big one?
With my fingers.
Also with the fingers?
Yeah, I just stand up to do it instead of sitting down.
Wow.
So very quickly, we essentially run the yarn across and up and down and across. If I can get my fingers to work right. and I have to lay it down. And then you start
So do you
weaving.
know usually when you're going to make, when you start, you know, putting your yarn, or just...
No, I never do. I don't plan
You don't?
for anything. No.
This is interesting.
I am guilty in that I just like...
So you know, your hands just lead you to your creation.
Yep, pretty much. I like color, and I like to play, and I'll pick out a few colors that interest me and start working and see how they work together.
Well, when you have the yarn, when they send you back yarn,
Right.
do you dye it, or
Yep.
they do it for you, or how do you...
Alpaca fiber comes in 22 colors, from white to black. So all the shades of brown and gray are in there.
Oh, this is how you get from the factory, how they are doing.
Well, they send me, this was a tan colored yarn when it came back, because it came from tan colored animals. We call it fawn.
This is not natural. They don't
No.
have...
Then I took it and dyed it all of these colors.
Oh.
And
So when they come in different colors, but when you put together, you get rainbow kind of, you know,
Yeah.
different colors.
this shawl is made out of natural colors. These are all natural. There's no dye. And this is all alpaca.
Is it strong?
Very strong. And it wicks moisture away, and it takes less alpaca fiber than it does wool to keep you the same kind of warm.
Oh.
It's fire resistant. They're starting to use it in insulation,
I see.
athletic socks. Alpaca is amazing fiber.
But they usually now, because it is very expensive, they are not using the pure alpaca. They just probably mix with some other fibers to make, you know, kind of mixed fiber.
Well, it depends on what the end use is. For instance, a shawl that is going to not be worn hard,
yeah.
I can use 100% alpaca. If I were going to make socks, I would mix nylon and maybe a little wool in with
I
it.
see, for sturdiness.
For sturdiness. But you still get the same warmth.
I think in Peru is very very well known. They're using alpaca. Once I had a sweater from Peru, made from alpaca. It was so soft, and you know, the 100% alpaca. But I don't see it anymore. I don't know if they're too expensive to produce, because this yarn is, you know, very expensive.
It's
why they're
available.
It's available.
Right. Alpacas originated in South America, in Bolivia, Peru, and Chile. We imported them to this country 30 years ago. So there are quite a few farms in the United States with alpaca. We unfortunately don't have a manufacturing process to be able to manufacture clothing. But
see.
Peru and Bolivia do
They
have
do.
the manufacturers, and they have high-end clothing that come out. You have to be careful when you buy alpaca that's imported. If it's very cheap, you're going to feel it. It will be as itchy as wool. But if you buy quality alpaca, it will be nice and fine. However, the United States is developing our own alpaca industry for fiber.
This is something newer.
We're working hard at it. We now have a couple large mills in the country that are starting to create enough wool, enough yarn in a quality that we can make upholstery fabric. There's a company in Pennsylvania making upholstery fabric. There's a company out in Texas.
So this must be durable then, if it's upholstery fabric.
It's very durable, and it just depends on the grade and the quality of the fiber. The finer grades go into clothing, and the coarser grades go into socks and upholstery fabric.
I see. But this is a mixture of alpaca and cashmere.
Well, this one, I like to play with a lot of different fiber, and I go to a lot of fiber festivals, and I always buy more yarn than what I sell. This one is actually wool that's blended with cashmere and silk, and it feels every bit as nice as this.
So you buy the skein like that, you know, like that?
Another fiber artist had dyed it and created it.
And so when you finish
I bought it.
weaving, and then you put those fringes on the end, or and this is a separate thing. You use separate different yarn to put the fringes on by hand.
Well, the fringe is actually the warp of the weaving. It runs all the way through.
Oh, so you just save it. Oh, and this is how when you finish it, this is you end up with this. And then you have to tie it, of course,
Right.
Tie it so it will stay
Right.
the way it is. I see.
So these
is this
are-
like a dyed fabric of fiber or not?
Yes, it's dyed yarn. They call it hand painting because they put several different colors in the same skein of yarn. And this one is 100% alpaca.
Yeah, it's really, really soft. But it's pretty colors also.
And the shawls back here, this shawl is 100% wool with nylon ribbon in it. So it just depends on what I see somewhere that I
So when do you
think
get
will be cool.
inspiration to do all this? Everywhere?
Pretty much. I've been known to go into my closet where all my yarn is hidden and throw it all out on the bed and see what looks good.
And then you have to move
then
it in the evening. So you can still lay on it.
And then I pick out the colors I want to work with, and that's what I create.
So do you, when you start, for example, in your loom, and then you got kind of stuck because, you don't know what is going to be next, do you leave it and then, come back, later on with the new idea? Or if you make, for example, some mistake, I'm sure everybody make mistake doing anything, what do you do then? Do you just leave a mistake as maybe sometimes mistakes are something new invention?
Weaving is fairly forgiving. You can back up. You can take it out. It's
you
like
could.
knitting or crocheting. You can take out things if you notice soon enough that you made a mistake.
I see.
If not, you might make it part of the design. So.
But this is, absolutely, that's what they
That's
say.
right.
Many times, if you have something, make mistakes, it turn out to be new design. So absolutely,
Quite often.
This is right. Which one is your favorite color to work with? Or
It doesn't
this
leap
is
out.
like asking which child do you like the more?
Pretty much. I love greens, and I love purples, and I love pinks, and I love... It just depends
Rainbow of colors
Yeah.
looks like you like it.
Pretty much.
So what is the next thing what you're going to do? Shawls and accessories mostly. Is this something, this is probably very good because it's one size fits all. You don't have to worry about doesn't fit me and, this is too big, too small. This is, anybody can wear it. And also you can have just a plain outfit and put the scarf on, for example, and you dress it up and also keeps you warm. So this is, two things at once. You get, wearing her scarves. And are they one of a kind?
They're all unique and one of a kind.
This is even better, one of a kind, so nobody else in the world will have but you, so which is good.
That, and I intend to start, I do make some rugs and some bags out of that. I don't have any right now. I will at the next show. I also would like to make this wide enough that I could start making clothing out of my woven items.
But do you think that it should be cut when you put like that? Because you cannot weave, the way it should be. I see.
I'd like to see vests and
Vest
dresses
probably
and,
easy.
and pants and all sorts of whatever strikes the fancy I would like to make.
Yes, it looks like you're very adventurous. It really, she likes to try different things, which is, for any artist does that. To have something exciting and something new in your mind. I'm sure when you go to bed, you think, what can I do? What can I do next?
My problem is while I'm working on something, I'm thinking of the next thing I want to make.
So you kind of two things at a time, you know, thinking about your next project
I
and
always
doing
have
one that
something
you're
else.
already doing, so which is you know very good. I'm just interested about your animals. You know, I'm so fascinated. People can take care of so many animals, and are they you know mostly healthy, or what do you do if they have a problem? I
They're
don't know
very
if
hardy.
they have a
They
problem.
don't get sick very often. But like most livestock, you have to pay attention to them. But when you see them every day, you notice when somebody is not acting right.
Are they good mothers
And
when they
they're
have
very
babies?
good mothers. Very good mothers. They have their babies between noon and dawn. So you don't have to stay up all night worrying about if somebody's having a baby. They have it early in the day.
Really?
Which is very convenient.
But you know,
And
they're just to stand by. You don't do anything. This is the
for
natural
the most
thing
part.
for you know for them to do, you know, to have like a sections or something, C-section or something like that. They don't have it.
Although we did have to do that on one. So
Really?
she was too small to have a baby. Just like human people can be too small to have a baby. And we didn't know that, and we didn't breed her. We bought her and she was pregnant. And so we had to rush her to the vet, and we helped do a C-section. So it can
But the babies
happen.
are not too small, she told me. You know, they're really big. It's the long legs and long, you know, neck.
Long neck. They're very cute. They hum. Alpacas make a humming noise.
But they don't eat right away. They use they're using mother's milk.
They're usually up and nursing within 5 to 10 minutes. So
Really?
Yep.
That was quick.
they are quick, and even little when they're first born, their fibers about
So do
an
they
inch
have
long.
do they have a fur when they're born?
Yep, they come out with about an inch and a half worth of fiber, and it's very silky and soft. And
And how long is the fiber, for example, in the spring, when every year when you shear them, how long is the fiber?
it can be anywhere from 3 inches to 5 or 6 inches. It just depends on how much growth they put on that year. They average around 3 to 4 inches. So that's a pretty good length of fiber.
But when you shear them, do you shear them really to be bald totally, or
It's
you
pretty
leave
close.
it, or leave them a little bit, you know, so they can, you know, it can grow again?
Yeah, they have a little bit on there, but they start, I mean, it's growing constantly, so it's...
So you know, they don't
They're
look
never
funny
naked.
for a long time. You know, they start growing the hair.
Well, they look pretty funny for a month or two.
Oh,
They have a bunch of naked alpacas running around, and
so do they eat more in that period?
no, they just, they go find the shade and hide from the sun.
What about you
So,
in the winter? Where do they sleep?
in the shed.
In the shed. Are they friendly with each other or not, or
Yeah, they're very
protective?
they're very communal. They
Communal.
like to be together. They don't do well alone at all. If somebody has one,
Oh,
chances are it'll get sick. But they like to be in a group. So they're very social animals.
How did you, you know, get idea to? Is it something that you had other animals before, and
Yes,
you just came?
we did. We were raising horses. We still do. My daughter takes the horses. I was looking for another animal that would be easier for me to take care of as I get older. And alpacas are very easy to take care of. So,
And also it's
they
so
have this fiber.
beneficial, you know. You take care, and they give you something to work
Yeah,
with, which
so-
is something, you know.
So
very,
every year I
very
get fiber to play with, and babies if I did any breeding. So this year we'll have 6 babies, and
So do they have lots of room to roam around? You know, do they need to have
they
it?
need a fairly decent sized pasture to be in
would
to
they
get
go-
exercise.
But you have to have a fence that, otherwise
Yes.
they will go to the neighbors.
Yeah, yes, and we have guardian dogs that live with them to take care of them because coyotes and other dogs can come in and hurt them. So we have livestock guardian dogs that are big dogs. They weigh 110 pounds apiece. And they live with the alpacas.
Not that we are learning about artwork, and we are learning about the
alpacas.
Animals that we did not know.
Well,
I did
alpacas
not know.
give
I'm
us
sure you did not know too.
This wonderful gift.
How to take care of alpaca, their babies, and what do they eat, and how do they, sleep? Where do they sleep, and all of this. This is interesting. And as you said, you're thinking about the clothing. So this is your next project. You are going
Probably.
to do.
I think.
Are you going to do your designing yourself, or you just give it to somebody that already finished cloth so they can do it? So how you are going to do that? Are you
Probably both. I'll probably start doing the sewing myself, and then hopefully, if it's
get too
if
popular,
they get
then
popular,
you certainly need
we will hire
assistance.
somebody.
You
Right.
need assistance. What color is do you have like a spring color, or this is just whatever you have on hand that you are doing? Oh, this is so soft.
Well, I'm trying to focus on spring now. So I started creating some
pink and blue.
And
this is pure alpaca, is it?
This is pure alpaca.
But this is, much thinner than this, so they come in different thickness.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, you
they're
can
not
get yarn,
all the same thickness.
this is
so you tell them, to the factory, I would like this thickness or that thickness.
Right.
Oh.
This is like a big, fat, bulky yarn, and then this is a sock weight or a fingering yarn, and this is even lighter.
This is like a silk.
Almost, except it is alpaca. It's a very, very tiny yarn.
If it's when is the yarn so thin, it takes much longer, to finish the piece.
Yes, it does. So I better really like doing it.
Do you need special glasses to do it?
No, the nice part is I don't really have to look at it very much. Because when you weave on a loom, with the triangle loom, you're weaving with your fingers. So you're working it down, and it's a heavier weave. On the loom, the floor loom, you're moving the shuttle back and forth. And
so you have a wooden piece where you put, yarn on, and you just put like that through it.
Yep.
Is this how it was? I think I know what you have it, but of course, it's a big thing. She couldn't bring it here, but this is just a little demonstration, so you have idea how the things are done, and everything is done, by hand, and everything is done by, the finest possible yarn, which is alpaca. And I'm sure you learn a few things about, we always learn something from our guests because they're interesting and, have a lot of knowledge about different things, which most people, have no idea, And it was good
it is different.
to have you today to tell us about different yarn and different colors and how is, you shear your alpaca and how do you send to the factory in Maryland to make it. And also, she said they can make it very thin or very thick. So it depends, how the yarn is. If it's thicker or thinner, she decides what to do. Is this how it's done?
Right, exactly.
Well, don't you think we had a great lesson today? And if anyone is, do you give lessons also, or no?
I haven't had time to do that because I have a full-time job as well.
Really?
But
so where do you work? At nighttime? You don't sleep at all?
Well, I don't sleep much. But I also attend a lot of fiber festivals and craft festivals in order to sell my products.
Yeah, right.
So
and also to meet with other artists, so you learn from each other's mistakes and good stuff, and as you can see.
Well, everybody has ideas. So there's always a new idea.
Well, we are so happy that she came today and show us all her alpaca stuff, and I'm sure you learn few things from her. Certainly I did myself because I did not know about alpaca. I know about alpaca fiber, but I didn't know about alpaca animals. Now I know. At least something, a little something. And I really am happy that you came and, you know, show us all of this. Also, I have to tell you that some of our programs are on the YouTube. If you type Olga Jevtich Fashion Notes, you will get some of our programs. We are working on it to have our, you know, other, you know, newer programs on, but right now we have some of the older ones. But you still have idea that we have a wonderful artist from our area. They are doing fantastic things. You don't have to go anywhere. They are all here. You have to patronize in the craft shows to see what these talented people are doing. And if they are members of the craft guild of Northern Virginia or any other places, you know that they are really very special artists in their media, and you know, I would really recommend that you go also Torpedo Factory, you know, that you can see other artists, you know, from our area showing their beautiful work. And any last word you can tell us about your work?
I'll be at the Virginia Craft Show.
Where is that?
The first weekend in March at the Meadows Exhibition Center down outside of Richmond.
Oh, in Richmond. I see.
And it's a very large craft show. And then keep your eyes on the news. The fiber festivals are starting.
Okay, great.
And they run all spring and summer and fall. And you never know where you will find me.
But you mostly work, you know, in what, you know, all the time you're working probably because you have to keep up with all these shows that you are showing, and you have to have enough merchandise to show. Right. And also, I'm sure you would like to make new things. You're not probably satisfied to see same thing, you know, all the time. You always think probably to do, you know, something
new
more.
Colors, new
colors,
textures.
new things, and this is most artists do that anyway. And then the next time when I see you, probably will have some clothing or something, so you can, you know, show us what, you know, your other creation is going to be. And your cute little llama, I'm sorry we don't have any picture to show you what the llama the alpaca looks like. And she said that llama, I was mixing llama and alpaca. Llama is a little smaller, isn't it?
The llama is a little larger. The
alpaca larger.
Is small.
I know one was a larger one.
But their fiber is very nice as well.
But is it as soft as alpaca?
It can be. It can be.
I see. Is it also farms of the also?
They're all over too. They're everywhere.
Well, so I did not know that. Well, thank you very much for watching. This is Olga Jevtich reporting for Fashion Notes, and I hope you turn in again next time for exciting artists from our area. Bye-bye.